Okay, so here we have the next kit I'm going to start here, and you can see this is the incredibly elderly Lindberg Helldiver, and it's very old indeed. If we look on the side here, we can see price in Canada $1.69, so that gives you some idea of the age of the thing. The picture here is not terribly representative of what we actually get, because we don't get any underwing stores like that. So we'll have to do something about that. I'm thinking of an all gloss blue with white trim aircraft from the USS Randolph in about 1945, actually, because it's easy to paint. There's some stripes, white stripes and blue stripes on the rudder, but the rest of it's gloss blue, so that's a nice easy one to deal with. Now, if we actually have a look at what we get in the kit, it's got very few parts, of course, some very thick canopy pieces. They don't fit too badly, it turns out. The wings, obviously you can see we've got the usual very heavy ribbety detail, but that's actually not too bad. I quite like that, because these aircraft actually you can see the panels like that, and the rivets might sand them down a little bit. If we actually look in the wheel wells, we can see it's actually got some quite nice detail in there. They've actually put some of the pipes and bits and pieces of the hydraulics in there, which is nice. However, they've totally ignored any cylinders in the engine. So I might well have to just try and put something in there which just gives the illusions of a radial engine in there. It's just not terribly good. Even if it's got a very large propeller over it there, you can see it's not really going to look that great. So maybe some small pieces of tubing in there just to give the impression of the radial engine. The crew are quite nice, and I will be using those. I've made a little paper cutout for the instrument panel there. The main problem is, of course, there's absolutely no detail inside. We have two seats which look like sort of Spanish Inquisition torture implements there, like that. I'll probably use those, but dress them up just a tad to try and make it look better. The crew figures themselves are actually pretty nicely moulded, and they look quite reasonable, so I should be able to use those, and that will fill up a lot of space, of course. If we actually look inside here, the big problem inside the aircraft is not the cockpit itself. Once we've actually got an instrument panel there, and that's not too bad. It's actually the rear area here which is a real problem, because this bulkhead here should not be there, because the guns, there's a twin machine gun set up here, and the barrels actually extend into this area where we've got this false bulkhead here, and I'm not sure whether just to paint that black and ignore it, which is certainly a possibility, or do something else. You'll also notice here this panel, which I'm pointing at with my finger at the moment, actually should be a window. If you look here, you can see that it is transparent if you look on the picture there. So I could drill that out and then glaze it with some glue and glaze, and that would look a bit better. And if I did that, I would probably take out this this part of the bulkhead as well, and then I'd have to put something. I'd have to put something in there as well, just to make it look a little better. So we need a ring and two machine guns here, and the stuff here on this bulkhead, there is a lifeboat canister and various black boxes to do with radio and navigation systems. So what it probably needs is a little shelf here and some black boxes, and a sort of cylinder thing with a yellow life lifeboat rolled up inside it, an inflatable boat. So other than that, I think it's going to be pretty much out of box, and as I say, I'm likely to do an all gloss sea blue version with white trim. There's no sign of the dive brakes on either the upper or lower wings, and I think I will probably just ignore that. They should really be perforated, as you can see here. I could buy some photo etch, but if I bought some photo etch, it would cost me more than the actual kit would itself, and I'm just not going to do that, let's face it. Anything else that could be done? We could drill out here, you see the exhaust pipe, I could actually drill that out and that would make it look a little bit better. And the main thing to do is something to do with this horrible lack of radial engine here. So that's what will be happening here. I don't anticipate this will actually be a very long build because I've got a very simple colour scheme, and I'm not going to try and really do an accurate representation of the machine guns or any internal structure in here. It'll be a few pieces to give the vague impression of what's going on. Okay, so that's the introduction. I've also taken a few still photos, so we'll see how it goes later on.